Chapter 2 Part 1. Dax walked quietly with the hushed crowd, carefully checking everyone out while pretending to be intent on the game. He had never been in this kind of crowd before. The girl with wavy, auburn hair dressed in a silk georgette crepe blouse, a blue taffeta skirt, and a red flop caught his eye on several occasions. He decided she sure would look good sitting beside me in my new Chevrolet. With that, he stopped beside her and held out his right hand. Dax McCatron, miss. She blushed, knowing she had been caught looking at him. Polly O'Reilly, she spoke quietly in a less obvious Irish brogue than Dax's, revealing a dainty dimple. Are you from Cork? Dax asked. No, she answered. I'm from Kilkenny. We were almost neighbors, Dax grinned. Are you alone? He inquired. My brother is a caddy, she replied. Dax and Polly spent the afternoon shuffling around the course together as the tournament progressed. At 5.5 feet tall, with a slim body and a roundish, smiling face highlighted with a few scattered freckles, Dax thought she was beautiful. Even though he vowed not to mix romance with his current plan, he couldn't help himself. Toward the end of the day, he asked, "Will you have dinner with me this evening, Miss O'Reilly?" Yes, I will, Mr. McCatron. She blushed, feeling a rush of excitement. Walking the course and standing together planted a seed that needed little encouragement from either side to sprout. I'll walk over to the clubhouse and see if there is a possibility of getting a dinner reservation, and I will meet you back in the crowd to finish the tourney, Dax said to Polly. That would be fine, she replied with a coy look that melted deeper into his psyche. Dax left Polly and walked across the golf course to the posh clubhouse. The restaurant featured a large stone patio trimmed with meticulous landscaping, and the windows gleamed in the sunlight. I'm sorry, sir. There are no more reservations available for this evening, the busy maitre d' told Dax. There must be something you can do. Dax palmed him a 20. Of course, sir, and what name should I hold your table under? McCatron, Dax McCatron, he replied with a smile. McCatron, it is sir, table for two, 8 o'clock. There will be seating on the lawn where you may order soft drinks until you are called, the maitre d' said, pushing the 20 deep into his pocket. Dax had never been able to manipulate a situation with money before. He didn't even like the idea of it, but he wanted to do whatever he could to get closer to Polly O'Reilly. The last hole of the day was in progress when Dax reunited with Polly on the course. The only reservation I could get is a bit late, Dax said. I hope you will join me for drinks on the lawn until they call us to our table. It would be an honor. She cooed through voluptuous lips. The two ambled to the clubhouse, and Dax ordered 2 Coca-Colas. They found a rock to sit on by a pond of colorful koi carp. Where do you live? May I call you Polly? I live in downtown Chicago, near my work. And yes, please call me Polly. Where do you work, Polly? He asked, looking into the deep tone of her hazel eyes. I work at a bank, the First National Bank of Illinois. I'm a teller there. What if I came into your bank and told you that if you didn't give me all your money, I would kiss you? Dax teased. I guess I would have to let you kiss me, Polly giggled. Besides, I don't think we have any money left. There were 6 banks in Chicago robbed 3 days ago, and our bank was one of them. It was really scary. Tell me about it, Dax inquired, wanting to hear the rest of the story he thought he knew the ending of. These 3 guys with masks came in, and 2 of them held up machine guns and told us tellers to put all our cash on the counter. Then, one of them, carrying a duffel bag, walked along the counter to each teller and demanded that we put the money in his bag. I was at the far end of the counter, and by the time he got to me, the bag was full. I told him I couldn't get any more money in the bag, but he told me to push harder, or he would take me with him. So I stuffed it in as hard as I could, and he made me hold the bag together so he could zip it up. Then he winked at me through his mask, took the bag, and left. The police arrived about 3 minutes later, but the robbers had already left. Wow, that's quite a story, Dax responded, most certain of the connection. Yes. And at the same time, in 5 other banks in the city, the same thing happened. Did they catch the robbers? Dax asked inquisitively. I read in the newspaper that there was a shootout with the police outside of town somewhere and another one at a bakery downtown. The police killed 9 of them, and they killed 12 police. The police didn't recover anything. They think one or some of the bad guys got away with all the money, she explained. Dax listened, seeing images of shot-up cars and bodies sprawled over the highway and farmhouse lawn. He hoped he was the only one who knew the whereabouts of the stolen money. Polly and Dax enjoyed each other's company, sitting on a rock by the pond, reminiscing about their lives in Ireland. Polly grew up in a middle-class family, finished high school in Kilkenny, and followed her brother, Bain, to Chicago, where she put herself through 2 years of nighttime business school while working at the bank. Dax listened, sharing little of his background while he showed her his rock skipping skills and kept her laughing. She liked Dax. Not only was he her countryman, but he was well-dressed, handsome, attentive, and very funny. Over dinner, Dax shared with Polly that on Monday, he was going to buy the new touring car parked on the mound down at the Chevrolet dealer. He revealed his plan to move to Conifer Cliffs, Montana, and invest in the vast wheat lands there. Polly was impressed that her new acquaintance seemed to have financial means, but she had no idea his evolution from vagrancy to wealth was only 3 days old. After dinner, Dax walked Polly to her hotel room and retired to his own. On Saturday, July 15, 1922, the second and last day of the U.S. Open, Dax and Polly met for breakfast, then spent the day side by side watching the tournament. Polly rooted for her brother's player, Bobby Jones, and Dax rooted for himself to win Polly's heart. As for the tournament winners, Gene Saracen took first, John Black second, and Bobby Jones came in third. As for her heart, it was still a work in progress. After the results were announced, Dax excused himself from the milling crowd, telling Polly he needed to meet with a bookie he placed a bet with when he first arrived in town. He asked her to meet him back at the country club for dinner. Now that he knew the winners, he could easily say he'd won the trifecta. He would soon be the proud owner of a new Chevrolet. Dax walked to the bar to meet with the fictional bookie and returned to the country club with his pockets full of the same money they were full of before he left. He had not talked to anyone. Instead, he entered the bar, enjoyed a quick beer, and returned to the clubhouse, where Polly waited. "Did you win lots of money?" Polly asked him eagerly. "Sorry, Polly, I had to bet against your favorite, but in doing so, I won a trifecta. Now I can drive away in my new Chevrolet. I wish the dealership was open on Sunday, and I could drive you back to Chicago tomorrow." Polly smiled. "I would love it if you could take me home tomorrow. I'll go down to the dealership and see if I can find the owner. Maybe he will do business on Sunday. Is there a particular time you need to be home tomorrow?" "I need to be home before 6 p.m. to prepare for work on Monday." Again, Polly and Dax spent a delightful evening together, dining in the clubhouse and getting to know each other better. They retired to their respective rooms by 11 o'clock with an arrangement to meet in the hotel lobby at 10 in the morning for a breakfast date. Dax was up at daylight, contemplating his day. He wondered when and where he could find Chester Irwin to close the deal on the Chevrolet. At 7:30, he walked down to look at his dream car and saw Irwin across the street entering the pool hall to get his morning coffee. "Mr. Irwin," Dax yelled, "do you do business on Sundays?" Irwin looked up to see the young Irishman he thought he would never see again. "Got any money?" he hollered back. "I have $850, Dax yelled. Irwin walked across the street to the lot. "Doesn't sound like you have enough," he grumbled. "Do you want me to just give you $50? I suppose you want me to buy your breakfast, too." "Yeah, and I want the car to be full of gas, too." Dax grinned at the grumpy old codger. You can want anything that you want to, but the deal is I'll buy you a cup of coffee while we fill out the bill of sale for $900, and then you can go haggle somebody else. Irwin shuffled into his office to get the paperwork, and the two walked together across the street to fill in the blanks over a cup of coffee. Your bets apparently came through for you, Irwin queried. I won the trifecta, Dax confirmed. I'm happy for you, Irwin said, but I'm happier for me. Here's the bill of sale and the key. I'll trade them for the 900. Dax stood up, dug in his pockets, and forked over $900. You're a tough old goat, Mr. Irwin. I can't imagine paying full price for anything. Irwin snickered. Where are you heading in your new car? Montana. Dax answered as he pushed in his chair and turned toward the door. Good luck, Irwin said, shaking his head at the young man full of ridiculous dreams. Thanks, Dax replied over his shoulder. He couldn't wait to show Polly his new car. It will really impress her, he thought. Dax climbed into the sleek Chevrolet and settled comfortably in the driver's seat. Looking through the windshield, he felt a sense of ownership he had never felt before. He started the motor and listened to it, knowing it was his to control. He ground his way back the 6 blocks to his hotel. Shifting the gears would prove to be a learning curve. He parked in front of the hotel, where he and Polly agreed to meet. It was 9 o'clock. Dax was an hour early. Since the tournament wrapped up, people were abandoning Skokie. With time to kill, Dax decided to take a spin around town and the adjacent farmland to get more experience driving. At 15 minutes to 10, Dax parked in front of the hotel and strolled into the lobby to wait for Polly. When she stepped around the curve of the crafted oak staircase, his heart pounded. She walked with culture, feminine elegance, and possessed a smile that became more enhanced as the distance between them closed. I have a surprise for you, Dax winked. I love surprises, if they are good ones, she dimpled. It's a good one, Dax beamed. Dax put his hand behind Polly's lower back and guided her to the curb where his car was parked. I bought this car this morning to take you home this afternoon. We can go the long way and have a nice drive through the countryside together. Congratulations. It's a beauty, Polly exclaimed, running her hand over the seat covers. Let's walk across the street and have breakfast. My brother is there, and I'd like you to meet him. She flashed her warm smile close enough for Dax to kiss. They had only known each other for 2 days. He was shy and didn't take the cue. Dax held the restaurant door open, and Polly saw her brother sitting at a table by the window. This is my brother, Bain O'Reilly. Bain, this is my friend, Dax McCatron. He's from Cork. Good to meet you, Dax. Bain greeted Dax heartily. And you, Bain. Dax replied as they shook hands. Polly told me you won the trifecta, Bain exclaimed. Just a good stroke of Irish luck. The leprechauns must have been helping me. I know nothing about golf, Dax laughed. Did the leprechauns help you meet my sister? Bain laughed. Must have. Dax nodded. Please have breakfast with us, Bain, Polly asked. Yes, please, Dax encouraged. It's on me. Since the leprechauns have taken such good care of me, I must pass it on. Where do you live now? Bain inquired of Dax. I'm on my way to Montana. I want to invest in some of the vast wheat lands there, Dax said. Would you like to join Polly and me for a drive through the countryside to her home this afternoon? What are you driving? Bain asked. A new Chevrolet. I just bought it this morning with the trifecta money. That would be delightful, Bain said. But I need to